Elon Musk is rarely present. Even when he is in the room, his mind is somewhere else, calculating, predicting, solving. People call him a genius, a visionary, a disruptor, but very few ask the real question: what kind of mind never stops moving, even when it should? This is not a success story. This is a psychological story about a man who replaced stress with purpose and never learned how to turn himself off. Elon Musk's childhood was not warm. It was intellectual, isolated, harsh. He was bullied, excluded, often alone. So he did what many intelligent, sensitive children do. He escaped into ideas, books, science, futures. When the present feels unsafe, the future becomes a hiding place. This is important because Ellen did not learn emotional regulation early. He learned mental displacement. Instead of processing pain, he out-taught it. Ellen realized something early. Being smart made him untouchable, not emotionally, but socially. Intelligence created distance. It protected him from ridicule, from humiliation, from weakness. But armor has a cost. When you use intelligence to avoid emotion, you never learn how to sit with discomfort. You outturn it, you outrun it, and Alan became very good at running. Have you noticed something strange? Elon Musk never looks calm, even when smiling. There is tension. This is because his nervous system never learned safety. His baseline state is alertness. Alertness creates productivity, but it also creates exhaustion. And exhaustion, when ignored long enough, turns into irritability, impulsiveness, and detachment. Elon does not work long hours because he loves money. He works long hours because stopping feels dangerous. Stillness forces reflection. Reflection brings emotion. Emotion brings memories. So he fills every moment with activity. Meetings, tweets, projects, deadlines. This is not ambition. This is avoidance. Mars, artificial intelligence, electric revolutions. Why not smaller dreams? Because massive goals justify obsession. They excuse imbalance. If the mission is big enough, no sacrifice looks unreasonable. Sleep becomes optional. Relationships become secondary. Health becomes negotiable. This is how obsession hides behind heroism. Elon is often described as socially awkward, but that is incomplete. He is emotionally detached, not because he doesn't feel, but because he doesn't process emotion traditionally. He treats conversation like problem solving, efficient, direct, often insensitive. This creates conflict because humans don't want solutions first, they want understanding, and the alien often skips that step. As Elon gained power, something subtle happened. Consequences weakened. When consequences weaken, filters disappear. Thoughts become statements. Opinions become declarations. This is why he shocks people, not because he wants chaos, but because his internal breakers are weak and power removes the external ones. Social media became dangerous for him. Why? Because it collapsed distance, thoughts, post, impulse, audience, no buffer. For a mind that already moves too fast, this is like removing guardrails on a mountain road. For a mind that already moves too fast, this is like removing guardrails on a mountain road. And the crashes became public. People say he doesn't care what anyone thinks. That is not true. He cares deeply, but he processes criticism intellectually, not emotionally, which means instead of pain, it becomes defense. Instead of reflection, it becomes doubling down. This is how rigidity forms. Most people believe power brings peace. For Elon Musk, power removed friction. No one slowed him down anymore. No one told him enough. No one forced him to stop. And when external limits disappear, internal limits must exist. Elon didn't have those. So, his pace accelerated. More projects, more decisions, more pressure. The world saw productivity. Psychologically, this was overdrive. A nervous system locked in permanent urgency cannot tell the difference between purpose and threat. People often leave Elon's orbits, employees, partners, allies. This is not coincidence. Highly driven minds often lack emotional boundaries. Elon relates through ideas, not feelings. So conversations become transactional, efficient, sharp, cold. Over time, people feel unseen, and the humans do not have because of workload. They live because of emotional neglect. Elon struggles with delegation, not because he doesn't trust intelligence, but because he trusts his own vision more than shared process. Control feels safer than collaboration, but control exhausts the controller. Every decision stays in his head, every mistake feels personal. This creates a feedback loop. More stress, more control, more isolation. Elon is often described as a fearless. This is inaccurate. Fear exists. It is just redirected. Instead of fear of failure, it becomes fear of stagnation. Instead of fear of loss, it becomes fear of relevance. So he moves faster, chases bigger risks, not because he is brave, but because slowing down feels worse than danger. Have you noticed his humor? Right, blunt, sometimes cutting. This is not cruelty, it is emotional distancing. Humor becomes a buffer between him and the vulnerability. If you joke first, no one can see uncertainty. Elon lives mentally ahead of time, years ahead, but the body lives in the present. Sleep debt accumulates, stress hormones remain high, recovery never completes. This disconnect creates irritability, impatience, and emotional flatness. You gain the future but lose the moment. The public sees confidence. Inside the strain is constant. A responsibility without rest creates emotional numbness, not sadness, numbness. And the numbness is dangerous because it removes warning signals. He doesn't process criticism emotionally, he processes it competitively. Attack becomes challenge, challenge becomes motivation. This works short term. Long term, it prevents reflection. Growth requires discomfort. Elon avoids discomfort by converting it into motion. You can outrun emotion, you cannot outrun biology. Sleep deprivation, stress, cognitive overload. Eventually, the body demands payment. Burnout is not sudden, it is cumulative. Not what will you build next, but who are you when you stop building? Elon has no answer for that, because stopping has never been safe. Burnout does not always look like collapse. Sometimes it looks like more intensity, more control, more urgency, more impulsive decisions. For someone like Elon, exhaustion does not slow him down, it sharpens him dangerously. Sleep becomes optional, patience disappears, empathy thins. The mind stays fast, but the emotional system lags behind. This creates a human contradiction, extreme capability with shrinking tolerance. Elon's identity is not flexible, it is functional. He is what he builds. He is what he solves. He is what he moves forward. This works until something stops moving. Because when identity equals productivity, rest feels like disappearance, and disappearance feels like death. So he avoids rest, not consciously, instinctively. For many people, silence is peace. For Ellen, silence is confrontation. Stillness brings unanswered question. Am I enough without momentum? Who am I without urgency? What happens if I stop? These questions are heavier than any engineering problem. So he keeps moving. Here is the uncomfortable truth. The world rewards Ellen's imbalance. We celebrate output, not well-being. We praise sacrifice, not sustainability. So when he pushes too far, the applause gets louder, and applause delays intervention. Highly intelligent minds are excellent at justifying harm. They can explain exhaustion away. They can rationalize neglect. They can intellectualize emotional damage. Ellen does not ignore limits. He debates them internally until they lose. The danger is not failure. It is emotional hollowing. When a person lives too long without rest, reflection, or grounding, they don't break, they harden, and a hardened mind stops receiving feedback. This is when decision making becomes brittle. Drive moves you towards something, escape moves you away from something. Ellen's life contains both. The problem is what ambition is protecting him from, because unresolved emotion always demands attention eventually. This story does not end, because Elon Musk is still running, still building, still pushing, still outrunning stillness. There is no dramatic collapse, there is only accumulation, and accumulation always has a cost. When the work pauses, not publicly, not temporarily, but truly, will he know how to be still? Or will stillness feel like loss? Elon Musk is not a villain. He is not a hero. He is a man whose mind never learned how to rest in a world that keeps rewarding him for it. And that may be his greatest strength and his greatest risk.